This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, beginning at verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So, all of us, that call ourselves in this truth, that are doing the will and work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we are set in a position of watchmen. Scriptures talk about, you know, um, different scriptures. I believe it's in Ezekiel about watchmen unto Israel. Because basically we're supposed to be looking for danger. And basically the Lord is sending evil and danger, and basically our job is to basically get the attention of our people, tell them what's to come, to basically tell these other nations their judgment, so we can get the blood off our hands. Verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua answered me and said, write the vision or the prophecy and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So, like the elder apostle Gabar always says, we don't need gimmicks. You don't have to use big fancy words. Basically you break this information down to this simplest form, and you give it to the people. For the vision or the prophecy is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. You've had prophecies start, stop, start, stop. But now things are picking up speed. I remember back during the lockdowns, back when Trump shut down the government, these different things. It's like things were taking place and then stopping, going, stopping. But now, we moving because, brothers excited with the fact that, you got the WEF, World Economic Forum, basically making statements talking about to function in society, you're going to need a CHIP. So the vision, the prophecy that the elders have been speaking on since, far before I came into the truth, which, the elders harp on this, because prophecy is the main thing. That's why Paul said prophecy should be coveted. Out of the many gifts, you should wish to prophesy. Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Whose soul? Esau Edom's, who you call ignorantly the so-called white man, who's really not white, but is red because his blood shows forth through his skin. The real red man. Behold, his soul, Esau's soul, which is lifted up, because he's the proudest man on the planet. Even in a low state, like if you, like I've basically had the, I ain't gonna say misfortune, I experienced homelessness, so I've had to go to these different soup kitchens and just deal with a variety of nations of people and people in general, and going to these different soup kitchens and whatnot. And Esau Edom, I would say this, Jake is wicked and has pride to him, to a degree of pride, even being a nigga and all, but is no one as proud as this devil. You know what I mean? Like I've literally, like, I remember it was this Edomite chick. This lady had a coat that was like basically torn all the way up. The lining inside of the coat is falling out. Coat stank. She dirty as fuck. But we in a soup kitchen with all these Edomites, and basically she was acting out. And if it was a Jake, they just kicked his ass out. It's all kind of sheriffs. You had sheriffs moonlighting at this particular church that was doing this. That's how much money they was getting. They had like 6 sheriffs. They had sheriffs. They basically pampered this lady. I'm talking about belligerent, disrespectful, proud as fuck. I'm talking about looking like, smelling like shit, looking like shit, looking like a little demon for real. Like, it's funny, the elder apostle Har just said, our demons manifesting. He just did a video of demons manifesting. Yeah, they been here. You know what I'm saying? Is it more? Yeah, to me, through the spirit, it seems like it's more manifested. We're coming into dark times. It's going to get way far worse than the closer we get to the end. It's always darkest before the light. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So who is the just? So-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, you Israelites. and those the hopeful elect that's going to keep, these commandments to the very end, the true elect, they're going to live by their faith. They're not going to trust in Esau, Edom. They're not going to trust in, their flesh. Scriptures, Jeremiah talks about, cursed be the man that trusteth in um, man, or basically trusteth in his own flesh, roughly paraphrased. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, going back into that pride. Neither keepeth at home. So this is still talking about Esau, Edom. He transgresseth by his wine, his philosophies, his doctrine. This devil basically telling you, he's basically convincing people that you can be your own God. You know, you know, when basically he about to make you a product. They about to be able to scan your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, psh. Neither keepeth at home who of large of his desires hell. He can't be satisfied. He can't be sated. Um, his desires hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's why you have the world under this wicked ass vibration, because it tells you in the book of Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. We know we have wicked individuals of all nations. Tells you that Jake is so wicked he taught the wicked his ways, but it's a nation of individuals on the planet, a nation of people that are deemed the wicked. Malachi 1 and I think it's verse 3. Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And when you go into that word clay, it's abatya, meaning heavy debts, which this monetary system, this petrodollar, the United States dollar, is a debt note. So that's that heavy debts. That's that thick clay, which is soon about to crumble. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rachakodos Bakatah. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teaching do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat, as well as the Akim, out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to the truth. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Yahweh out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. This lesson is in regards to this article I just seen. I was looking for an article, and it was going to be something on the money, but I came across an even better. Okay, look at this. Came across an even better one through the Spirit. And this is out of my Newsbreak app, and it says the U.S. dollar is on the verge of a breakdown against the world's other top currencies. So the dollar is basically fragmenting, it's breaking, because ultimately it was set up where this dollar became the world reserve currency, and once that currency that the whole world deals with is taken down, that's why it's not coincidental that all these other nations are starting digital currencies, from Russia to China. All these other nations have digital currencies that they're working on. You don't think America has some kind of digital currency? It says the dollar is on the verge of a breakdown as other global currencies start to rise. The U.S. dollar index fell below the 100 level this week, which represented a key support level. A decisive breakdown is likely given a loss of momentum across time frames, Fair Lead Strategy says. The U.S. dollar is on the verge of a decisive breakdown that will reverse much of the gains the currency enjoyed over the past 2 years. God damn. So, they trying to say that inflation has bottomed out, which, to me, it seemed like shit is still expensive, you know what I mean? Like, especially groceries, but, I don't, buy every little thing, The U.S. dollar index fell below its all-important 100 level this week to a low of 99.447. The decline violated a trading range that has been in place since the start of the year, according to Fair Lead Strategies. In a note to the clients on Thursday, Fair Lead Strategies founder Katie Stockton said that a decisive breakdown is likely given the loss of momentum across time frames, including a new weekly MACD sales signal. I have no idea what any of this means. The moving average convergence divergence indicator is a trend following momentum gauge that technically analysts use to show the relationship between two moving averages of security prices. While the dollar falls, well, that's plain. The other currencies are surging, including the euro, the yen, and the Canadian dollar, among others. But that's all. The scriptures talk about why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing. You got these other nations that's thinking that they gonna take the top spot when all this is actually orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, basically again, that's why they're talking this, because a lot of this shit is distraction. I don't know if purposely being done. I mean, but it's being done because it's too much information talking about digital currencies, CBDCs. You know what I mean? Like the next step is to make everything digital. That's why you got the IMF and the Fed now and all this whole shit. The Fed now basically is going to be something that's going to be worldwide. You know what I mean? And again, they talking about it's basically kind of like a cash app, in real time. But nah, that's what they telling you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, like the fuck, like you don't know what they about to do with you. You really think they gonna give you all the information to something? Because look at how people protest and stand up to certain things now. Look how they actually sneak certain information into the laws and shit. You'll have these senators that'll they'll basically wait the day before to try to pass a law, and the senators got to basically stay up all night to try to read what's all in what they trying to pass. You know, that's like with the I forgot what it's called, where they trying to basically police the internet. And they talking about they going after TikTok, but it's really that's just on surface. When you go into what they trying to do, is basically going to allow them to police like our our YouTube channels, different websites, because they basically trying to go in or go after misinformation. But who deems what's misinformation? The devil. uh, so basically, the point of this article says, while the dollar falls. So the dollar's falling. I didn't mean to do that. Damn. I read that one. So why this dollar's falling is going to affect and basically inflation. They say inflation bottomed out, but shit's still expensive again. Like I say, the elder Uriah from Chicago just did a video about he said you don't need the what is it called? He said something you don't need the such and such 9,000s. You know what I mean? Basically talking about how Jake need to start managing their money a little bit better, and you ain't got to buy every little thing because we about to come into hard times. Because again, the devil telling you that inflation ain't really there, but you got individuals that's saying that they know inflation there. You know what I mean? I remember the elder said, he said, shit, he kind of hurting. Certain brothers there is hurting. A lot of brothers hurting, and he said it ain't usually like it might be one brother hurting while other brothers is lightweight doing all right, so brothers can pitch out and look out. But now he like it's a lot more brothers hurting. So you know what I mean? Those years of it's spiritual too, because when you look at like Joseph in Egypt, when you had them years of plenty, and then you had them years where basically that's why they kept back most of the grain, because you had years of plenty, and you had years where you had I can't think of the word, but basically where it was a lot less than. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6, and it reads, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny." So when you go on that word penny, it's denarius. And a denarius was basically, or denarion, denarion, a 10 asses, pence penny. So basically a denarion or denarius was a day's wage for a Roman soldier. So when it says a measure of wheat for a penny, it's going to basically break down to, it's going to take you a day's wage to buy bread or food, and then makes you think of the wine and republic, because when you go into the history of that, basically when the money had failed, people was trying to use like wheelbarrows full of money to buy bread. And it's going to be something like that when this takes place, because you already seeing inflation kicking in. But hyperinflation is basically when the price of goods basically change within, the hours. It might be $10 at 10 o'clock. It might be $50 at 2 o'clock. So it says, verse 6, Revelation 6 and 6, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." So you can't hurt, basically this truth, because at the end of the day, we seeing You know, that's why you gotta you gotta preach what was taught. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you know, we seeing inflation. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't seeing it, then the Lord either blessing you or you really blind eyed to it. That's why you know like certain brothers like me was always talking about, this I know like brothers, go through shit. I've been through shit, lost multiple jobs, and I'm a felon. I know the Lord be dealing because, I'm a felon and I literally been working since I've been in the truth. You know, I try not to jump job from job because, to me that can get frustrated, you know what I mean? But, at the same time I don't knock nobody to do it because, we all, times is hard. So everybody trying to, basically ain't nobody just trying to work and slave off of, pennies on the dollar. Everybody trying to, you want to live. You ain't just trying to survive, you know what I mean? But, that's what we about to have. That's what life is about to be, This devil's whole mindset is, that's why he made that statement. You own nothing and be happy because people just gonna want to live. I mean, or Salaki, not live, but survive, you know, being alive instead of living, you know. Ooh, shit. Just imagine that. You know what I mean? Just imagine you living in a society where basically anything you do, they could basically go into your assets and take away from that. Like that shit'll make you go crazy. I'm talking about like I don't know how. I don't want to say I'll just crash out, but like goddamn, like when you take, you know what I mean? When you take time to think about it, like damn, that's an evil individual. With somebody with a mindset like that, do you know how evil you are? Or like these individuals, like these politicians and these judges and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, a judge will sit up there and look you in the face and give you time for drinking and driving. But then you come to find out, like my stepfather used to be an alcoholic. And I remember he was like, it's AA meetings inside the Justice Center. You know what I mean? And come to find out that was true. So some of the biggest alcoholics be these judges because they really try to deal with what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like you got to remember, they say that, they supposed to be unbiased to certain shit, but you know what I mean? They people too. They just people in positions. So you got individuals that like, they ain't supposed to talk about cases, but they do. They do all kind of shit just like everybody else. They just don't get caught as frequently, dude. What's that, that Judge Pinky card? You know what I mean? It's talking about the bailiff and, different individuals that worked in their courtroom. They thought she was crazy. You know what I mean? But she had went on for years, just like a kangaroo court type shit. And then finally, I guess it got exposed where they basically, her job was in jeopardy. So now she got to do all this shit to try and keep it. But it's just like, at the end of the day, them people really think that they got more power than what they really got. You know what I mean? Just because Esau told them they got power. Little do they know, like, man, like you not a judge, you know what I mean? Like the ultimate judge about to judge your ass. Salaki for the digression. But yeah, so we seeing the inflation, and inflation is gonna continue to increase. I'm rambling. This is the book of Genesis chapter 47. So again, that them heavy debts, debt note, that dollar, basically the inflation gonna kick in till finally, the money felleth. This is Genesis chapter 47 and verse 15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in the present? Salakia, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money felleth. So these devils is taking the play out out the scriptures. They know, basically when you go into the account of this, Joseph was wise enough. He knew that, because when you go into the account, the people sold everything they had. They sold, they possessions, then they sold their land, till finally they sold themselves. So, this devil was basically trying to put us in a position where we're so desperate. That's why I truly believe, like the sister said, like the elders, well, Salaki, what like the elder brothers been saying, like the elder Apostle Tahar, the elder brothers, the sister, she made a statement that I believe that, they're not gonna really force it on you. They're gonna put you in a state of desperation. Just like with them when they locked us down the first time, you know what I mean? Although they didn't enforce too much of anything, people were so just, basically them changing how shit worked. You couldn't do certain shit. You know what I mean? You had people bugging out just on that. But then you have people lightweight content because you could still go to these grocery stores, or the liquor store stayed open later. You know what I mean? You couldn't go to the bar, stay at the bar all night, but you can go to the liquor store. The liquor store wasn't closed at 12 and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, but this time when they do it, it's gonna be you're gonna people gonna be a lot more upset, and that's what they banking on too, so they could basically order out of chaos. They're gonna bring order out of the chaos that they about to create. So the modern day Egyptian is these Babylonians, these Americans. So when the money felleth, is gonna bring in the perfect solution, which is the sea hip. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 14. Well, I'm gonna start at verse 12 and it reads Revelation 13 and I'm gonna start at verse 11. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. So when you go into the two horns like a lamb, that's going basically into America. This political system. You got the Republicans and you get the Democrats. So those are the two horns, and America's always talking about peace and safety and all these different things. That's like Second Thessalonians, the devil coming to them peace and safety, and then suddenly destruction come upon you. We got these devils talking about everything gonna be all right, from Joe Biden to fucking Trump demon out again. It says, and he spake as a dragon. So he come peaceably, but he gonna basically come with force when he come with these laws. You know what I mean? Look at how they about to restrict the internet. You know what I mean? They about to put it in play. If you say certain things that they don't agree with, they about to be able to fine you, prosecute you, all kind of shit. Verse 12, and he exercises of all the power of the first beast. So this system is going to exercise the power of the first system, which was ancient Rome. That's why America is basically what's the word? I ain't gonna say groomed, but kind of like structured similar to ancient Rome. Architecturally, they speak a lot of Latin, like the laws are written in Latin. Roman numerals in the school system, yada yada yada. It says, and cause of the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And Rome, the ancient Roman Empire was killed, but is being resurrected through America. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven or earth in the sight of man. That's going into his technology. And his ultimate technology is going to be, that sea hip. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So those that are not going to be down with the system are going to be persecuted. Persecution coming, they basically persecuting you basically for being a man. I was listening to the elder Yashawamba yesterday. He was talking about how I didn't even know they was, but that's why a lot of times I listen to a lot of brothers, because I don't get to watch news as much, but I do like look at articles and watch what I watch on YouTube. But brother was going into like basically right like Dwight Howard is being ostracized and attacked because of how he's raising his sons being men. They like right now they attacking you just being a man. So just imagine how much more so when we go to stand up for these scriptures. So yeah, persecution coming. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark or a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, anywhere in their body. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And I was gonna go get the article, but the talk of the town is right now, or the talk throughout Yasharala right now is, that article, because brothers came across that article where it says the WEF says everyone will have to get a C hip in order to be able to basically function as a society. So that's clear and plain as day. And you got that from our elders and our apostles, the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well. You know what I mean? Like they've been pushing that for years. And, I know for a fact they've been pushing it since I've been in the truth. Because I push it based on, coming in after their labors. So, like Second Ezra chapter 9 says, in the end shall manifest. What I mean? Meaning we see in the end. Call law Yamla Bashim Shah. So, we gotta wait to see how the Lord gonna do the rest of this. But if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, and this message is reverberating through your spirit, I pray that the lesson be edifying and that you come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to God, like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rachak with this double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. I want to say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. So next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom.